the other side en masse. That's who we're up against. We're up against a bunch of weaklings, people who are soft. And Sherman Smith, the editor of the Kansas Reflector, go fuck yourself, little bitch.
Hey, whoa, sir, we will refrain.
Snarky motherfucker.
Hey, how you guys doing? All right, so that opening 30-second video clip there was the final 30 seconds of my 3 minutes of testimony that I gave up at the Kansas State Capitol building back in November of 2021. And I kind of wanted to use this video here to explain why I said what I said when I said it. And so, you know, basically what happened is that, you know, back at the very beginning of November of 2021, I think it was either November 1st or November 2nd, the Republican legislatures, state representatives had set aside a date for a special session for Kansans to come in and give 3 minutes of testimony about the COVID policies and the COVID mandates that were in place. And if you wanted to speak at that, if you wanted to speak at the session, you had to sign up in advance online. And so I had signed up to speak, and I was scheduled for that Saturday. I think it was either the 1st or the 2nd. I can't remember the specific date. But what ended up happening is that so many people signed up to speak that they made it 2 days instead of just 1 day. So it was now a Friday and a Saturday event. And so that Friday, the night before I was going to go up there and speak on Saturday, I was interested to know what other people were saying in their testimonies. So I was looking around online, and I came across the Kansas Reflector editor's Twitter, and his name's Sherman Smith. And so the Kansas Reflector covers politics here in Kansas. They're liberal. They're far left, extremist. They're extremists. And so I was looking at his Twitter, and he was up there. He was live tweeting at the state capitol while people were giving their testimonies, and he was just being the most snotty, snarky motherfucker. With all of this shit, like he was being condescending, no empathy whatsoever. He couldn't care less about any of these people that were up there talking about how they've had their livelihoods impacted by these COVID mandates and these COVID policies, and he's just tweeting all this, just this snarky bullshit out. And so I said to myself, I was like, all right, well, tomorrow when I'm up there speaking, when they give me the 30 seconds remaining notice, I was going to transition from what I was talking about and say exactly what I said in that opening 30-second clip. That's what I intended to say, and that's exactly what I said. I was going to call him a snarky motherfucker, and that's exactly what I did. And what ended up happening after that is in the Kansas legislature, went to post that video up on their YouTube, and that 30-second portion of my testimony was edited out. It was muted. You couldn't hear it. That opening clip, that 30 seconds, is someone had recorded it live and then posted it on the Kansas Reflector's YouTube. Because even now, if you go and watch go back to the original, the footage from the special session, it's still muted. It's still edited out, that final 30 seconds. And so because of that, then a couple of the newspapers up in the Topeka area covered that story, and they interviewed one of the Democrats up there, one of the Democrat representatives, and even he was like, "Oh, you can't edit the video. That's public record. That shouldn't happen. It needs to be up there online, unedited." And I agree with him. It's not right that they did that. But they also in the story, one of the stories, they interview Sherman Smith, and Sherman Smith saying that him and I had exchanged emails, and that I was upset that he wouldn't cover my protest that I was doing at that time. I was doing my child mask mandate protest at that time. And so he said that I attacked him like that because of him not wanting to cover my protest. And that's just not true at all. At that point, I had contact with lots of reporters, and I had turned down reporters coming over and wanting to cover. I was like, I don't want to deal with you because it wasn't on their turn. They wanted to do the interview here or there, and I wasn't willing to do that. So I was turning down reporters. It wasn't about him not covering my story. I couldn't care less about that. I don't give a fuck. this was strictly about, him being a condescending, smug asshole the night before to American citizens that were up there talking about how their livelihoods have been negatively impacted by these COVID policies that people like Sherman Smith supported and forced on us while we were saying we don't want that shit. So he sat there and basically laughed and mocked us, and I wasn't going to put up with that shit. So I went up there and I said exactly what I wanted to say, and that's what happened. And I'll also include the full 3-minute of my testimony at the end of this video here, if you want to listen to what I had to say for the full 3 minutes. But I appreciate you guys checking out my video, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Rory Harms. Justin Spees. Justin, welcome to the committee.
Hi, my name is Dr. Justin Spees. I'm a professor by trade. It breaks my heart to sit here and listen to my brothers and sisters, my fellow American citizens talk about being treated like second-class citizens. And I'm right there with all of you. And I want everyone here and whoever's listening to know that I am not a second-class citizen. These people here are not second-class citizens. We are not second-class citizens. But we've allowed ourselves to be in kind of quite a bit of a mess right now. So we need to ask ourselves, what are we going to do about this? We need to recognize how serious this is. If we're being treated like second-class citizens right now, imagine when they get the vaccination rate up to 90%, and it's 90% versus 10%, and the 90% wants to get back to life, and they start blaming us, and they'll do anything to get back to life. So what are we going to do? Well, we need to stand up. We need to stand up. We need to bully these people out of our lives, because they are not just going to get up one day and say, okay, I'm done. They're not listening to us. This is not the time to talk. Last year when this came down was the time to talk, and nobody wanted to listen to me. I imagine a lot of us, as they threw us out of store after store after store like second-class citizens. The time to talk was last year. But lucky for you, I don't want to talk. I've been doing a protest against the mask mandate for kids in school in Lawrence at the county district school building at 110 McDonald Drive. I've been there every day since July. I guess it's going on almost 4 months. I've been joined by some very nice people, and we've been there every day. And a lot of people might not like what I have to offer for standing up to all this nonsense. It's not pretty, and it doesn't look good. It feels good. We got to bully them out of our lives. I know little old ladies that came out on the corner, nice as can be, 2 months later, are completely just tearing down grown men on the other side en masse. That's who we're up against. We're up against a bunch of weaklings, people who are soft. And Sherman Smith